I knew something was wrong the moment my sister smiled at me. Too wide, too bright, too desperate. But I didn't have time to unpack it before the dizziness hit me like a fast-moving train. It started with heat flooding my chest in the airport lounge. Then the floor beneath my feet stretched like rubber. Voices grew thick, blurry. My vision trembled. And right in front of me, my entire family stared with the same expression. Fear and greed mixed into one. My sister, Claire, leaned close, pretending to adjust my scarf as she whispered, "Did it work?" My knees buckled. I heard my mother gasp, not in worry, but like someone seeing a vault door finally open. My brother, Jason, muttered, "Good. She signed that contract yesterday. The funds hit her account this morning." My heart crashed into my ribs. They thought I couldn't hear. My purse slipped from my fingers, spilling onto the shiny airport tiles. My black card slid out. Jason snatched it so fast. He didn't even pretend to hide it. My vision dimmed, but their voices stayed sharp. "Move fast," Claire hissed. "Grab her hand. If she wakes up, we're dead." "No," my mother whispered. "We just need her fingerprint. Hurry." The world swallowed itself in darkness. And the last thing I felt was someone lifting my limp hand. If you want to know what happens next, make sure you like, watch, and subscribe for more intense stories. Now, let me take you back to the beginning. My name is Ava Williams, and my family has always been complicated. Not the normal kind of complicated. No loud fights, no throwing plates, no dramatic slamming of doors. Well, my family was the kind of complicated that smiles while hiding knives behind their backs. Growing up, I thought we were normal. My mom, Janet, was soft-spoken. My father, Daniel, worked long hours and barely spoke. My siblings, Claire and Jason, were the golden children. I was the quiet one, the girl who studied too much and spoke too little. I didn't know then that my silence made me their easiest target. Life was simple. And in those early days, nothing felt dangerous. They hugged me, laughed with me, celebrated birthdays like every other family on TV. We were broke, but we were together. Dad used to say wealth was a curse, that money made people ugly. I didn't understand what he meant until I became the wealthy one. Years later, after college, I worked hard, really hard, and after a decade of grinding and sleepless nights, I signed a life-changing contract. Contract worth millions. Literally. My company awarded me my first $1 million payout, and for the first time in my life, I was the rich one. My family found out faster than I expected. First, they pretended to be proud. Pretended to be supportive. Pretended they cared. But something changed. Slowly. Quietly. Like shadows creeping across a floor. They called more. Visited more. Smiled more. And then came the strangest thing of all. They wanted a family Christmas vacation. In Aspen. All expenses covered by them. A miracle if miracles smelled like lies. But I agreed because a part of me still believed family meant safety. The day of the trip, everything felt off. Claire kept touching me, fixing my hair, straightening my clothes. Jason kept offering to hold my purse. Mom kept insisting I looked pale and should take something. Still, I brushed it off. I told myself it was just love. When we got to the airport lounge, the Christmas decorations were everywhere. Gold ribbons, flashing lights, fake snow on glass windows. People were laughing, kids running around, couples taking photos. A normal festive scene. But around us, there was only tension. And then Claire said the words that would destroy everything. "You look tired, Ava. Here, take this. It's just a vitamin." I should have said no. I should have trusted my instincts. But she sounded caring. Familiar. So I swallowed the pill. My world tilted. My family's masks slipped. And within minutes, I felt myself collapsing to the cold floor. Slowly, like falling through thick water. The shock on my face must have been obvious, because Jason whispered, "Don't look at her. Just stay calm." Mom's voice was trembling with urgency. "She signed the $1 million contract yesterday. The money is there. Everything is ready." I tried to speak, to scream, to grab someone. Anyone, but my body refused. My head felt heavy. My chest burned. My arms went numb. And then I heard it, the line that froze my soul. Hurry. We need her fingerprint before she wakes up. Everything went black. And that was when my real nightmare began. Because when I woke up, I wasn't in the airport anymore. I was somewhere far, far worse. Cold air hit my face before my eyes even opened. My body felt heavy, like someone had tied invisible weights to my limbs. For a moment, I didn't know where I was. I expected the airport, hospital, basement, something dark, something terrifying. But when my vision finally cleared, I was staring at my own bedroom ceiling. My bedroom, my apartment, not Aspen, not an airport bed, not anywhere my family expected me to be. I pushed myself upright, groaning as a sharp pain stabbed behind my eyes. A bitter, chemical taste coated my tongue. My throat felt raw. My lips were cracked. One thing was certain. I had been drugged hard. My purse sat on the floor beside my bed, emptied like a carcass. Every pocket turned inside out. Every item pulled apart. My wallet was open, my ID tossed aside, my lipstick smashed, tissues scattered like confetti. But the one thing that mattered most. My black card. A cold whisper slid down my spine. Slowly I looked around. My suitcase was still zipped shut, sitting exactly where I left it before leaving for the airport. Everything was in place. Untouched. Waiting for a trip I never actually went on. Because I was never supposed to go on it. I swung my legs off the bed, wobbling. My hands trembled as I reached for my phone on the nightstand. Dozens, no hundreds, of notifications exploded across the screen. Alerts, warnings, security messages, transaction approvals, location pings, facial ID verifications, fingerprint scans. My phone had been buzzing non-stop for hours. I opened the first alert. Then the next. Then the next. My stomach dropped. My fingerprint, had been used to authorize payments at a luxury mall in Miami. Another at a designer store in New York. A yacht service in California. A private resort in the Maldives. First-class flight bookings. Jewelry purchases. Cash withdrawals. VIP lounge accesses. All completed while I was unconscious. While my drugged body was nothing more than a key in their hands. They used me like a credit machine. $1 million. $500,000. 200,000. 30,000. They were burning through it like Christmas lights on fire. Shaking, I opened the security report. A message flashed at the top. All transactions authorized by customer fingerprint verification. Fingerprint. Not passcode. Not PIN. Not card swipe. They drugged me for access. They needed my limp hand. My unconscious body. My helplessness. And the realization carved into me like a knife. This wasn't a robbery. This was a plan. Family operation. A coordinated attack by the people who raised me. My breathing turned shallow. For a second I felt weak. For a second the betrayal almost crippled me. For a second I thought about how far they were willing to go. And something inside me changed. A slow, cold calm settled in my chest. My heartbeat steadied. My shaking stopped. And instead of crying, I started smiling. Small smile at first. Then bigger. Then a smile so sharp it hurt my cheeks. Because now I understood something they didn't. They thought I was defenseless. They thought I'd stay unconscious. They thought I'd stay broken, scared, confused. They thought they won. But they made one mistake. One beautiful, perfect mistake. They left me alive. I wiped my face with the back of my hand and whispered to myself. They think I'm weak. They think I'm sleeping. I walked to the mirror, studying my reflection. Bloodshot eyes, pale skin, messy hair. I was unconscious. My smile widened. But I'm awake now. The notifications kept buzzing and I picked up the phone again. My family was knee-deep in luxury, partying on my money, celebrating their betrayal like Christmas came early. They thought they were untouchable. They thought I was out cold for days. They thought I wouldn't wake up until they were done using me. Slowly, I opened the security app again, scrolling past the transactions, past the alerts, past the warnings, until I reached the part that made my smile turn into something darker. My bank had already flagged everything. They froze the account, right after the biggest purchase was made. Right after my family flew themselves to a private island resort. Right after they ordered champagne, private chefs, exclusive villas, and top-tier services. Right after they trapped themselves. I whispered the words, tasting them. They don't know I'm awake. And then, leaning against the wall for support, I started planning. Because if they wanted a Christmas vacation, I was going to give them one. Just not the kind they expected. The sun outside my apartment was just beginning to rise, painting my living room gold. But across the world, nightclubs were pulsing, fireworks were popping, and my family, my sweet, greedy family, was living like royalty on a private island. I sat on my couch with my knees pulled up, a blanket around my shoulders, phone in hand. Every few minutes I refreshed their social media pages. Claire had posted a boomerang of champagne glasses clinking. Jason had uploaded a photo by an infinity pool overlooking the ocean. My mother, who used to tell me to stay humble, now posed with designer bags spread around her like trophies. The captions made my blood warm. Family vacation. Living our best life. Deserve this. Blessed. Blessed. Interesting choice of word for thieves. I zoomed into one picture. I saw the black card, my black card, pinched between Claire's fingers as she pretended to toast to the camera. My jaw tightened. They were celebrating my downfall. But they had no idea the real party was about to start. I put my phone down and opened my laptop. Hours earlier, while still dizzy and weak, I had filed a full fraud report, contacted my bank's emergency department, and submitted legal authorization to freeze every account linked to my name. My bank moved fast. Very fast. Especially because they knew me, knew my patterns, my habits, my spending history. They trusted me. They believed me. And they had one rule. If a customer is drugged or incapacitated, everything stops. So I watched, breath steady, heart cold, as the trap quietly snapped shut across the world. And it started with the first alert. Transaction declined. Then another. Card confiscation order issued. Then another. Account fully frozen. Fraud investigation initiated. Then a big one. Passport flagged for financial crime. Local authorities notified. I leaned back on my couch. It had begun. Somewhere across the ocean, my family was about to learn what happens when you treat someone's life like a vending machine. I refreshed Claire's page again. No new post. Suddenly, a new story appeared. Shaky video. Dark. Loud. Confused. The camera flipped wildly as Claire whispered harshly. Jason. Jason, what's happening? The card isn't working. Voices in the background argued with hotel staff. My mother's voice pierced through. There must be a mistake. Run it again. Try again. Then the employee's response. Ma'am, your card has been seized by order of your financial institution. We cannot return it. Kiss. Pure chaos. The video ended abruptly. I bit back a smile. Another alert buzzed on my phone. All room access revoked. Guests locked out until payment verified. I could practically picture it. The three of them standing outside a luxury villa in expensive pajamas, carrying shopping bags filled with stolen goods, realizing they couldn't even open the door to the room they thought they owned. Then my phone started ringing. I watched the screen light up. Ring, ring, ring. Then it stopped. A second later, Claire. Her face appeared on the caller ID. Smiling, perfect, fake. I let it ring. And ring. And ring. Then Jason called. Ring, ring, ring. I didn't even blink. I placed my phone face down on the couch and continued sipping water from the glass beside me. My body still ached from whatever they gave me, but every passing minute made me stronger. Stronger than they ever expected. A few moments later the calls returned, back to back, Mom, Claire, Jason, Mom again. But then came something new. Unknown international number. The hotel. I let it ring. Then another number. Island Security Office. I let that ring too. And then, Island Immigration Control. I felt a cold thrill run through me. They were stranded. In a country known for brutal financial crime laws. In a luxury island state where theft, fraud, and card abuse could land foreigners in jail overnight. Where tourists with frozen accounts had their passports confiscated. The place where Christmas vacation becomes a real-life prison. My phone rang again, Mom this time. I picked up the device, stared at her name glowing brightly. I watched it ring. And ring. And ring. Then slowly, deliberately, without a word, powered the phone off. The silence that followed was sweeter than any revenge speech I could have given. But this was only the beginning. Morning light spilled into my apartment, soft and warm, the kind that usually makes people feel safe. But safety wasn't what I felt. I felt something sharper, something cleaner, something that tasted like justice served cold. I turned my phone back on. It took 30 seconds for it to explode with notifications. Over 80 missed calls, dozens of frantic voice messages, and a flood of texts that shifted from angry to terrified to downright desperate. But the videos were what made me sit up straighter. The first one was from Jason. The camera shook violently as he whispered, panicked. "Ava, please. Answer. They're holding our passports. They think we're part of an international scam ring. They said the purchases look like money laundering. They said." The video cut off mid-breath. Open the next one. This one was from Claire. She was outside somewhere. Concrete floor, harsh sun, hair messy, mascara smeared. She screamed into the camera. "Ava, this is your fault. You owe us. We're family. Family forgives each other. You're being dramatic. Just send the bank a message and tell them the card's yours." She spun around, yelling at someone off screen. "Stop telling me to calm down. She'll fix this. She has to." That video cut off too. Next came the one from my mother. I didn't expect what I saw. She was barefoot, dirty. Her once perfect hair now stringy and stuck to her face. Behind her, security officers watched her like a criminal. Her voice cracked. "Ava, please, they took everything. We haven't eaten. They won't let us leave. They said our behavior looks suspicious. They want statements. They want proof. We don't have any money. Ava, please help your mother." Her tears fell hard and fast. "I know we made a mistake. But we're your family. Families support each other. Please, please, baby, we're scared." She broke down sobbing. Then she lifted her face again, shaking. "We need you." Took a breath. Long one. Because there was a time in my life when this would have destroyed me. When seeing my mom like this would have made me run to her, no matter what she had done. But that was before she held my unconscious hand and used my fingerprint like a tool. Before she stole from me while I was half dead. Before she smiled through it. Now, my heart felt nothing but clarity. The next video call request came in. Claire. Jason. Group call. Answered. The screen opened to chaos. Shouting, crying, people pushing behind them, a security guard giving orders they couldn't understand. Their faces were red from the heat, their clothes wrinkled, their pride shattered. "Ava!" Claire screamed immediately. "You have to tell them. You have to fix this." Jason shoved his face closer. "They think we're criminals. They think we're running scams. They're talking about holding us until the investigation is done. They said it could be weeks, months, if the bank doesn't clear us." My mother whispered, "Baby, please." They looked so small, so helpless, so much like the victims they wanted me to be. I stared at them for a long moment. Then I said the only 2 words they deserved. "Figure it out." And before they could scream, beg, or blame, hung up. The silence that followed was deep, peaceful. For few minutes I just sat there, breathing in the quiet, watching the sunlight settle across my living room floor. My family had always assumed I'd fold under their pressure, their guilt, their tears. But they had never seen me like this. Never seen what happens when the quiet one finally wakes up. I placed my phone face down, stood from the couch, and walked to my kitchen to pour myself a glass of water. My hands were steady, my heartbeat calm. Across the world, the people who drugged me, left me unconscious on a cold airport floor, were now living in a nightmare of their own making. And they weren't even close to rock bottom yet. The police officer at the downtown station didn't blink when I told him what happened. Not when I described the pill Claire handed me. Not when I explained the voices I heard before blacking out. Not even when I showed him the long chain of unauthorized transactions made with my fingerprint while I was unconscious. Drugging. Financial abuse. Biometric exploitation. He just nodded, typed steadily, and hit submit with a quiet, firm click. Your statement's clear, Ms. Williams. This isn't on you. Those words felt like oxygen. After that, everything moved fast. Faster than I ever expected. I walked straight to my bank's main office. They already had my case flagged as a high-level emergency, and within minutes, I was sitting across from their security director. We've seen a lot, he said. But this is organized. Deliberate. You did the right thing reporting immediately. He slid a form toward me. Formal affidavit. Once signed, it would do two things. Clear my name. Damn theirs. I didn't hesitate. Sign. And just like that, every glamorous purchase my family made. Every villa, every yacht deposit, every luxury meal, every designer spree, transformed from vacation spending to evidence of criminal behavior. Within an hour, the foreign country's financial crimes division stepped in. Within 2 hours, my bank issued a full cooperation request with their investigators. Within 3 hours, arrest warrants almost went out. But the country had another option. One harsher, more humiliating, more fitting for what my family did. They froze everything. Every account. Every asset. Every digital wallet. Every card, especially the stolen one. My black card was officially revoked from their custody and shipped back to me. Meanwhile, my family, stranded, exhausted, filthy, was now flagged in the system. Their names entered a travel ban list. Their passports remained locked away. Their movements restricted. Their identities tagged as financial risk individuals. They couldn't book a flight. Couldn't leave the island. Couldn't even enter certain areas without supervision. I returned home, sat on my couch, and watched my phone buzz with updates from the international case officer. Then more videos. My family wasn't sending them. These were leaked footage from the resort security feeds. Their humiliation, recorded from multiple angles. One video showed them being questioned near the lobby, surrounded by tourists staring at them like animals in a cage. Another showed Jason pleading with the hotel manager, waving empty hands where my card used to be. Another showed Claire crying as security escorted her away from the luxury shop she tried to refund stolen items to. And then, a shot of my mother sitting on the curb, hugging herself, eyes dim. The next set of videos came directly from my mother's phone. She'd found Wi-Fi somewhere. Or begged someone for a hotspot. Her voice was trembling. Ava. The authorities said we owe the businesses money. Real money. They said since we spent it, since your fingerprint approved it, we're responsible. She swallowed, choking on her own breath. They said we can't leave until the debt is repaid. In full. Jason's voice shouted from behind her. They're making us work. Work. Like criminals. They said it's policy. Financial offenders must contribute labor to cover losses. I stared at the screen. A foreign country with strict financial laws. A wealthy tourist resort with zero tolerance for fraud. A system that didn't care about tears, excuses, or family drama. They had trapped themselves perfectly. Claire suddenly shoved into the camera frame. Her face sunburned and streaked with dried tears. You can't let them do this to us. Do you hear me, Ava? We're walking between resorts doing cleanup shifts. Manual labor. They said it could take months to pay everything back. She screamed. You did this. You could fix it. My mother sobbed in the background. Please, Ava. We'll die here. The camera shook as Jason grabbed the phone. We're trying everything. Calling old friends, co-workers, anyone we know. No one's picking up. No one wants to help. They think we're criminals. Exactly what they looked like. Exactly what they were. I didn't say a word. I just watched them unravel. Sweaty, desperate, sunburned, crying, begging strangers passing by. No makeup. No luxury clothing. No champagne. No stolen card to hide behind. Just the truth. The video call request came next. All three of them huddled together. Mom looked 10 years older. Jason looked angry enough to punch the camera. Claire looked like she'd been screaming for hours. "Ava, please," my mother whispered. I could hear the humiliation in her voice. The fear. The fragility. "Ava, help us get out. We can't survive like this." I studied them. Every scar they gave me. Every betrayal. Every quiet manipulation. Every sweet smile hiding a knife. And I felt nothing but justice. I leaned closer to the screen. Cold. Unshakable. "I filed the report," I said. "My statement cleared me." They froze. "And it condemned you." The air in the tiny video frame cracked. "Wait, Ava." Claire reached forward, eyes wide. Jason's voice broke into a new tone. A begging one. "Ava, please." My mother whimpered. "Baby." I spoke only 2 words. "Figure it out." Then I hung up. And this time, I blocked the number. The island air was warm when I stepped off the plane. Salt, heat, and something sharp hidden in the breeze. Not guilt. Not fear. Something else. Closure. It had been months since the report. Months since the final call. Months since I blocked them and rebuilt everything they tried to destroy. I hadn't planned to return to the place where they fell apart. But the case officer reached out respectfully, informing me their work debt sentence was nearing its first review period. Not the end. Just a checkpoint. I didn't travel there to rescue them. I didn't travel there to negotiate. I traveled to see the ending they wrote with their own hands. The resort looked different from the photos they'd posted, because those photos only captured the glamorous corners. The infinity pool. The overwater villas. The champagne deck. But I wasn't interested in those. I followed the guard's directions to the service side of the resort. A place tourists never saw. A place with metal fences, concrete floors, loud generators, and the sharp smell of cleaning chemicals. And then I saw them. My family. Through a chain-link fence. Froze. Not from pain. Not from regret. Not from shock. From realization. They weren't the people who drugged me anymore. They weren't the smiling thieves in designer clothes. They weren't the confident criminals filming champagne toasts. They were broken. Wearing cheap, faded blue work uniforms with reflective strips. Sweat covering their backs. Sunburn peeling from their necks. Shoes that didn't fit. Hands reddened from scrubbing. Hollow. Jason was on his knees scrubbing grout between tiles. Claire was dragging a heavy mop bucket, limping from exhaustion. My mother was wiping down metal tables, her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. They looked small, tired, punished by the very paradise they tried to steal from. A supervisor barked an order, and they flinched like startled animals. Then Claire looked up, squinting toward the fence. Her eyes widened. Her mouth fell open. And then, in one raw, breathless whisper, "Ava!" My mother lifted her head next. Her face twisted, hope detonating in her eyes like fireworks. Jason stumbled to his feet, gripping the fence, knuckles white. They rushed toward me, colliding against the metal barrier, their hands reaching through the gaps like prisoners craving sunlight. "Ava! Oh my God, Ava!" Claire cried. "You came, you really came, thank you, thank you." My mother sobbed so hard she couldn't breathe. "Baby, please. Please tell them we're sorry. Please tell them we learned. Please take us home." Jason's voice shook. "We'll pay you back. Every cent. Swear. We just need help getting out." Their hope was blinding. It made them look alive again. Human. Desperate for salvation, my salvation. I stepped closer, keeping my expression calm. Then I slowly reached into my purse. Their breaths caught. Claire whispered, trembling. "She's calling a lawyer." "Oh my God, Mom, she's calling someone. She's saving us." All three looked at me with tears shining in their eyes. Renewed faith, renewed love, renewed manipulation wrapped in desperation. They didn't know me anymore. Not this version. Not the woman they created. I lifted my phone. Their hope grew brighter, too bright. Then I pressed the camera button. A sharp click sliced the air. Jason's face fell first. Then Claire's smile cracked. Then my mother's trembling lips turned to stone. I held the phone high, framing the three of them behind the fence. And I said clearly, "Merry Christmas." I took another photo. Then another. Then I added, "I'm filming a documentary on greed." For a full second, none of them moved. "Ava, no. Stop. How could you? You can't do this to us. Come back. We're your family. Ava." Security rushed toward me, not to arrest me but to escort me out, following strict policy that prevented visitors from approaching offenders. As they guided me away, the screaming grew louder, raw, bitter, sour screams that echoed off the concrete walls. I didn't look back. Not once. At the airport, I moved smoothly through security, boarding a plane that would take me back to my new, peaceful life. No stolen fingerprints needed. No drugged confusion. No lies. No guilt. Just freedom. As the plane lifted into the sky, I stared down at the island, the place where my family tried to bury me. But they ended up burying themselves. Somewhere down there they were still working off debt. Still scrubbing floors. Still paying for every lie. Every betrayal. Every smile they used as a weapon. Their Christmas vacation didn't just become their punishment. It became their permanent lesson. And as the island faded into the clouds, I whispered to myself, "I'm finally done."